Hey everybody, I'm going to share with you how to create purchase orders in QuickBooks Online. So what is a purchase order? Essentially a purchase order is an intent that you're willing to purchase products or services from one of your vendors. And so the requirements are, first, you would definitely want to set up your vendor list. After you've established a vendor list, we would then navigate to the purchase order. Okay. And here's what the purchase order looks like. So basically, after we open up the purchase order, we get to decide, where to send this to and so forth. So let me just do one real quick here. Let me create one to, I'll go to Time Traders. Okay. And now we have the ability to either select category or item details. So if you're one that has inventory items and it's important to you to track how many you want to buy, like 5 of something, that's going to be super important that you have a product and a service drop down. These all come from your product, services, and so forth. So this is definitely the way to go about doing this is from here. Okay, I just go ahead and try this again. Okay, now so we now we got a $50 purchase order here. Alternatively, if you just want to do a quick and easy purchase order and you're not worried about building up a pretty detailed product service list, then you can come in here and you can post things as well to here. So now the difference here is you just get the ability to add an amount. You do not have quantities. So this is kind of the quick and easy way for categories, and down below under items was more rich data that you have. Okay. If you're interested in tracking these costs to a particular customer or project or sub-customer, then we would select that here. And then those costs would roll right into the project profitability. When you run your profit and loss, it'll show all the costs you bought associated with this customer here. Okay. I've got classes turned on here. This is just for demo purposes. So I'll go ahead and do class A. And then we have the ability to create a purchase order number if it matters to you. So if I could say just any number there would work that you want to have. Okay. So I'm going to hit save. Now, if I'm sending it to a vendor, I would put their email here. I also could attach if I wanted to attach like a contract or any specifics on, shipping or what have you, add that attachment there and save it. Okay. So this is a purchase order. And it's non-posting, meaning that it will not show up anywhere on the financials. So if we ran the profit and loss right now on September 7th, none of this $550 is going to show up anywhere on the profit or loss report. It's only until we receive an invoice from that vendor that we can then take action and convert this to a bill in QuickBooks. Okay, so fast forward time, let's imagine 2 days later, we get an email, and sure enough, somebody sends us an invoice, and it has the PO number that we provided here, and it's perfect. The invoice is for $550 perfectly. Well, in that case, we would just hit copy to bill, and then type in what your vendor gave you. So if your vendor gave you invoice 1010, we would enter that right here. Okay. Now, for some of us, if the vendor only had like 2 items and some of it's on back order, then what we would want to do is we'd want to come into the items here and actually type how much you got from them. So that kind of does a partial conversion of the PO. Don't worry, the PO will still stay open, and we can go back to it later when the vendor is ready to sell us the other items to make up the quantity there. Okay, so that's one example here. Now let's imagine another scenario. Let me go back to the original purchase order. Pretend I hadn't yet converted it, and let's pretend like the price has changed, and instead of it being $550, we get an invoice for $600, and that's because the price went up. So what we would want to do is, if we agreed on that, then we'd want to go back into our purchase order, change the amount to make it exactly what you are now agreeing to the vendor, save it, and then you would have the ability to then copy it over to the bill with the new updated price on that. And it's possible that if you had a product item services, you might want to go into your product services and change the default rates and so forth under the cost and so forth. Okay. All right, so now that we've got purchase orders in the books, we want to run a report to see just exactly how we can track the purchase orders that we have here. So what we'll do is we'll go navigate to the reports section. We're going to look at the section called expenses and vendors. Okay, and we've got a couple things here. This is a pretty good one here. This open purchase order list there. That's a good one. I think that'll get the job done. So let's run that open purchase order list. Okay, when you get here, you'll see all of the purchase orders. These are the numbers here, and so here we have that. Now, if you paid attention, notice that I converted a partial conversion of that. See how it's $600 after changing it twice. Then we've got $80 left, and so forth on that. So the others, the full amount is on both sides. So 5,000, 5,000. That means we haven't even touched the purchase orders that are still open there. So this could be helpful there. Now, if you want to make this report a little bit easier to see, you might not need to see any of this information. You can go over to columns. We can take things off to make it a little bit easier. I'm going to take off like that, and let's turn on the create date. So that can be really handy. And suddenly I'm seeing a couple of POs that are back in 2022, 2 years ago at least, and then here's one for today on the recording here. So old POs, if it's most likely that these POs here have been way past and converted and paid for and all that. So if your desire is to clean up any old purchase orders that no longer need to be in there, then basically you just open it up and delete the PO, assuming that you don't need to have it anymore. You sure you want to? Yep. And assume this is only if there's nothing linked here to it. It's just all by itself. You just flat out delete it, and that would be one way to clean up any stragglers on the purchase order that you don't want to see there. So I've refreshed the page. This is going to disappear there. Okay, great. So in QuickBooks, you need to have QuickBooks Plus or Advanced to use purchase orders. So unfortunately, if you're on like the Simple Start or Essentials, at this data recording, unfortunately, it's not available in your subscription unless without an upgrade and so forth. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video there. This is a video on just how to create purchase orders, convert to a bill, and then go on with being able to keep up with purchasing from vendors that require purchase orders. Thank you for watching.